In the ever-evolving world of tennis, greatness isn't just forged in titles, it's shaped by moments of insight. And sometimes, those moments come from across the net. Jannik Sinner, now world no. 1 and one of the sport's brightest forces, didn't arrive at the summit by raw talent alone. He got there through evolution. Through listening. Through adjusting. And in 2022, at the sacred grounds of Wimbledon, that journey of transformation began with a loss, and a conversation. The stage was the quarter-finals. Sinner stood opposite Novak Djokovic, a titan of the game, a man with wisdom carved from 2 decades of battles. The result was decisive. Djokovic won. But what happened afterward meant far more than the scoreline. Darren Cahill, Sinner's coach and one of the most respected minds in tennis, saw an opportunity. Instead of retreating into disappointment, he leaned into curiosity. He approached Djokovic not as a rival, but as a student seeking the truth. And Djokovic, true to his legacy, didn't sugarcoat anything. On the podcast, Served with Andy Roddick, Cahill recalled how Djokovic offered a dissection of Sinner's game with clinical precision, a gift few players ever give, and even fewer ever receive. He hits the ball great, Djokovic had told Cahill, but there's no variation. There's no shape on the shot. There's no height over the net. He doesn't come in. He's not trying to bring me forward. I know he returns well, but he's not attacking my serve. It wasn't an insult. It was a blueprint. Djokovic wasn't criticizing Sinner's ability, he was highlighting his predictability. And that feedback, that brutally honest breakdown, became the turning point in the Italian's rise to the top. Sinner didn't ignore it, he embraced it. What followed wasn't just practice. It was reinvention. Cahill and Sinner went back to the drawing board. They didn't overhaul his strengths, they expanded his weapons. They built dimensions into his game that weren't there before. They took the flat-hitting prodigy and crafted a tactician, an artist, a warrior who could adapt on any surface. Slowly, the variations came. Topspin and slice entered his vocabulary. The net became less of a stranger. He learned to construct points with purpose, not just pace. And most importantly, he started treating every return of serve as a chance to dictate. In the years that followed, those changes weren't just noticeable, they were undeniable. Sinner started winning the matches he used to lose. He began beating the players who once had him figured out. He grew into a player who could hurt you in 5 different ways, not just one. And now, in 2025, he stands as the top-ranked player in the world. The young man who was once too flat, too straightforward, too rigid, has become the most complete player on tour. And part of that metamorphosis traces back to the humility of a coach, the openness of a student, and the honesty of a legend. Djokovic, in that moment, didn't have to offer anything. He could have been polite, vague, dismissive, but instead, he chose to educate. It's a rare kind of greatness, to dominate a player and still wish for their improvement. But that's who Djokovic is. Not just a champion, but a steward of the game. A man who understands that tennis is not a solitary climb, it's a continuum. And his role, in that moment, was to help elevate the next generation. Sinner took that wisdom and ran with it. He didn't complain about being exposed. He didn't protect his ego. He changed. And in doing so, he didn't just improve his results, he rewrote his destiny. Today, when you watch Sinner angle a volley at net, or loop a heavy topspin forehand crosscourt, or pounce on a second serve with a forehand return winner, you see echoes of that feedback. You see the fingerprints of Djokovic on a game that was once too one-dimensional to rule the world. It is proof that greatness isn't just passed down through idol worship, sometimes, it's passed down in a 5-minute conversation after a defeat. And it's also a tribute to Cahill, a coach who didn't let pride get in the way of progress. Who knew that sometimes, the best lessons come from the man who just beat you. Sinner's rise isn't just a story of talent or youth. It's a story of receptiveness. Of embracing criticism. Of evolving because someone told you what you didn't want to hear, and you listened anyway. That quarterfinal loss in 2022 is long gone. The headlines have faded. The score is forgotten. But the lesson lives on. And the world #1 ranking that now sits next to Sinner's name. It's a monument to that lesson. A reminder that the most valuable things in sport, and in life, aren't always won. Sometimes, they're given. And it's up to you to use them.